Hey guys, I've got another Virginia story for you. It was in a little colonial house in eastern Virginia that Henry lived, apparently alone. One late evening, friends came to visit. Henry and his guests sat in the candlelit parlor, quietly talking, watching the flickering shadows on the walls. There was a lull in the conversation and a noise. Faint at first, then louder. A scratching sound beneath the floor. Everyone had heard it. Henry pretended not to. There were enlightened remarks about ghosts and such, and after a minute or so, Henry stretched, yawned, asked to be excused so that he might retire for the night. When his visitors had gone, Henry tugged at his collar, sighing. He was alone again, and none too soon. For as Henry's friends rode off into the dark against the fading counterpoint of their horses' hooves, another noise, like the first, followed by the sound of dragging along the floor joist beneath Henry's feet. Henry stiffened, silently regarding the inconspicuous trap door in the hallway floor. He reached for a lantern, approached the secret entrance, bent down, took hold of the smooth iron ring, and pulled the false panel away. Henry peered into the gaping blackness, lowering his lantern, then himself, into the cold cellar. As the flame cast a soft yellow light all about, there was a rustling in the corner. A figure, barely visible through the gloom, cringing in terror of the brightness, waited. Henry walked towards it. He lifted the lantern, and the light fell directly upon a face. A horribly animated countenance with twisted features, which snarled one moment and wept the next. A blanched, wild-eyed visage filled with torment. The face of Henry's wife. Henry could not recall the duration of her madness, nor could he recount the endless procession of days and months he had descended the cellar stairs to feed and to care for her. All the hours of Henry's life had by now blended into one solitary hour of despair. For Henry, the anguish had not diminished. To watch his wife tug against her straitjacket restraints, to see his love imprisoned through no wrong of her own. Once in a great while, like the pulsing glow of a near cold ember, the faint reflection of a happiness long past shone in the beleaguered woman's face. But then, like a flash of black lightning, the horror would return. These were the visions that stalked Henry from the depths of that secret place, the waking dreams he took to bed with him at night, and at morning into the warm sun. Was this on his mind? Did those visions haunt him as he addressed the assembly at St. John's Church the next day, March the 23rd, 1775? These were his words. Shall we try argument? Shall we resort to entreaty? What terms shall we find which have not already been exhausted? We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated. We have been spurned with contempt. There is no longer any room for hope. Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains? Forbid it, God Almighty. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Patrick Henry. And now you know the rest of the story. See, back then they didn't have hospitals and sanatoriums and places like that, where if you had somebody that was psychotic or had mental issues, there was nowhere to take them. So you had to, take care of them, by yourself or for yourself. And unfortunately, where he was at the time, there was no one else. And the only way he could protect his wife, from herself and protect others, from her as well, was, to restrain her and keep her, in the basement, to keep her safe. And even though it was horrible and it seemed to be a horrible way to live your life, he didn't really have any other choice at the time. So anyway, it's a sad story, but it's kind of a cool story. And your dad has been to Patrick Henry's house. We didn't ask to see in the basement. I don't know. But we went there a long time ago. So maybe you guys have been too. I don't know. So, but anyway, that's a story about Patrick Henry. Thanks. Bye, guys.